guys, and welcome back to a brand new video.
Hello!
So today we're gonna share our top 10 favourite memories from our first ever Disneyland Paris trip together.
Yeah, so we have both been separately before this trip, but this was the first time that we had experienced the magic of Disneyland Paris together.
And we'd only ever been as children before. Mm-hmm. We hadn't ever been as adults.
Yeah.
So it was like a big experience for both of us.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have videos on the channel where we talk about those past trips as children. Helena even has like footage.
Oh yeah.
From when she went when she was younger. So
my childhood memories.
I'll put it in an eye up here if you want to have a look.
So prior to this trip, we had been to a Disney park together. We had been to Walt Disney World in 2016.
Yes.
And we also did a very similar video about our top memories from that trip. So I'll pop that in the description box if you haven't seen that. But yeah, today we wanted to have a little reminisce and just have a good old chat about our first ever trip.
Good old chinwag.
The vlogs are all on the channel. They are the first kind of like proper vlogs that we did at Disney. They're still very different to the ones that we do nowadays.
Yeah, I'm very shy and very embarrassed, a bit like I was in the Get to Know Us video.
But they're really nice to look back on and remember our trip. So first on our list is travelling there, because it was the one and only time that we've ever used the ferry to go over there. And I think we picked the ferry because at the time it was just the cheapest option.
Yeah.
We had the car, so we could drive to Dover, and then we could drive from the ferry to Paris.
There was a bit there where I like winced, and that's because I just loved that car. Sorry, carry on.
Oh yeah, it's gone now.
It was a Ford Focus.
The scrap heap in the sky. But yeah, we travelled by the ferry. It was good. It was just long, and I remember it being really rocky.
It was an hour and a half, and so we drove to Dover. We saw the White Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
And then we going on a ferry. That's what I really remember. Us saying that as we drove on. And then, you left the car where it was, down below. And then you went up and I had a full English breakfast. You had a full English. Because I was very, very tired.
I just remember it being really rocky, and we've both worked on ships before. So like we kind of are used to it. Mm-hmm. But I remember thinking that I didn't realise how rocky it could actually be. But at one point I think I was like walking like sideways.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was a nice experience, and then it was obviously about a 3-hour drive.
Yeah, it was the same because it's to Calais, so it's exactly the same place that
the Eurotunnel.
That the Eurotunnel takes us. Yeah.
Yeah, and nowadays we tend to always use the Eurotunnel just because it's so much quicker and easier. But if you are looking for a cheaper option, I do believe the ferry is normally the cheapest option.
But I just remember this being really exciting.
Yeah.
It's just like, we're on our way.
And it felt like a real big holiday for us. We had been working in London, and we had been looking forward to this trip for so long.
Yeah. So still within that same memory, because we're just counting like travelling over there. So part of that was the drive afterwards. So it was the first time that I'd done the drive. So I was a bit apprehensive, a bit nervous, but then found out that it was motorways pretty much the whole way, so it was fine. But then we had a real struggle finding Davy Crockett Ranch, which is where we were staying for the very first trip.
So long.
We'd put it into our sat-nav, but our sat-nav just took us into a building site.
But they also had work going on, didn't they, that year? I remember it took ages to drive to the parks from Davy Crockett as well.
Yeah.
I think they had roadworks going on.
So we drove into this construction site, and I had no choice. There was a guy who was just sat in a car. Don't know why. Maybe other people were getting lost as well. So there was a guy sat in a car, so we pulled over. I had to get out and go and talk to him. Thankfully, he was able to speak English, and he directed me the best way to Davy Crockett Ranch. Gave me a different code, I think, from a sat-nav.
Yeah, but we did eventually find it, because it's quite hidden away, isn't it? In the woods.
And then when we did arrive, so we were at the check-in desk. We actually got this guy, and he was brand new. It was like his first day, and I think there was somebody overseeing what he was doing. And so he went into every minute detail about the ranch, about the parks, just everything, and he was absolutely lovely.
He was so good.
But
Like, he knew everything.
Because he was going into everything in detail, I think we were there for about half an hour at this check-in desk.
I just remember, like, people were coming and going, like, to the left and right of us, like, really quickly. But I think what happened is he said, "Is it your first time here?"
That's right.
And we said yes, because it was.
Yeah.
And then he just told us everything, and he was really sweet.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those memories that I'll keep forever, because we kept thinking it had finished, and then
Yeah.
he'd go on to the next
But actually,
thing.
it was really helpful as well.
It was really helpful, because it was actually our first time. But I remember being at that check-in desk for so long.
And then we get given a map of where all the lodges are, and then Helena, famously, as people have noticed in the vlogs, we're trying to look for our little lodge, and Helena's holding the map upside down.
But we still managed to find it. I think there's a comment on there that's like, did anyone notice she's holding the map upside down? But yeah, we found the lodge, and we just fell in love with the lodge. We'd love to go back to Davy Crockett Ranch, actually.
No would. And it also means that I just get to sing Davy Crockett a lot. So the next bit is actually on the same day, and we'd gone to the parks, and for some reason we just really wanted to ride It's a Small World.
Like, really wanted to.
I think it was like a nostalgia thing, because it's a ride that I really remember from when I was younger when I went. And they were getting ready for, was it the nighttime fireworks? I think they were getting
Something
ready
like that. The
for
parade of the
illuminations.
fireworks.
And so we didn't realise that they like blocked off all the lands.
Especially
essentially.
Fantasyland.
Yeah, so they just keep directing you into different routes. So you can still get to the lands, but you have to go like really long way. And I think It's a Small World was closing at a certain time, and we had to follow, it was like a maze, and we had to follow this different route. And then I remember like getting up to it, and actually we stopped on the way in Frontierland because I had a bad back from all the walking and the driving and stuff. And we were coming up to It's a Small World, and the timer on the clock was going.
Yeah.
And I thought, we're going to get turned away here from Small World.
It became into like this mission.
But we made it.
And it was the first time we ever met Creepy Hyena, the Creepy Hyena. And in the vlogs, I don't actually call him Creepy Hyena yet. I look at him, then I go, oh, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, I named him Creepy Hyena.
Creepy
and that's
Hyena.
where it started.
It's weird. It's weird seeing where those little things that
Started,
I've
yeah.
now stuck. It's weird seeing where they've come from, which we'll talk about a few more later on. But I just remember that being like the most relaxing It's a Small World, because we'd been in such a rush and a panic.
And there was no one there, I remember. I feel like we had it to ourselves.
There's nobody behind us. Yeah. Oh, lovely. I think that's why we love it so much.
Yeah. So next is quite a weird memory, but we were staying at Davy Crockett, and it had a TV, and if you stay in a Disney hotel, you have like the Disney Channel and Disney Junior Channel, I think it's called. And I remember every night we'd get in from the parks. It was summer, so we'd get in really late, about 11 midnight. And we would maybe have a cup of tea, just relax. And we'd always put on the Disney Channel. And the show Zoo would always be on. And we used to end up watching this kids' TV show for like an hour each night.
If you've not seen it, it's about
A little
zebra named Zoo, and there's like his family.
But I just remember that we'd always turn on the TV and Zoo would always be on, and we would just watch it, kind of like exhausted from the day, just like, yay.
There'd be at least 2 episodes on, so
Yeah.
we'd watch both.
I'm sure if you all have children, you might have come across this show. I don't know if it's still on anymore. I know it's on YouTube because we did search for it one day.
Oh, no, honestly, we went through a period when we got back home where on a night time to like fall asleep, we'd put it on because it reminded us of Disneyland Paris.
Disneyland Paris in the hotel. But it's just one of those memories that will always stay in my head. It's just being in that really cute, cosy lodge and watching the Disney Channel and watching Zoo.
Speaking of things that have stuck with us on the channel and phrases, the next one is the first time that we ever rode Slinky Dog. So yeah, Slinky Dog, and we went on this. We didn't know what it was like. It was the first time going on the ride. I don't think we were expecting much from it, to be honest.
No, I think we only queued up because it was such a short wait time.
Yeah, we thought, should we just go on this? And And I remember going on, and I'm actually, when in the vlog, I go, when we sit on it, I go, we're ready for Slinky Dog. So it's like
you
tiny,
say it like a little
very,
bit.
very small, and then Helena. My favourite bit was that I always remember is you then going woof. But then once it starts and starts going around, I then go Slinky Dog.
And I think, well, that was the first time you'd ever said Slinky Dog was on that trip.
It was the first time, and then I just remember a couple of people after the vlogs just like picking that up and being like, "Oh, you're spelling Slinky Dog."
And then it's evolved. Now we have pins.
Yeah, and it went from Slinky Dog to Slinky Dog.
It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
To now where it's like the top quiz score you can get. But yeah, I mean, that's very special because it did spawn a way of us interacting with you as well.
Yeah.
Because people just started messaging us saying that, like, when they saw Slinky Dog, they were thinking of us.
Reminded them of you.
Or they were saying it like us. So yeah, it's very special.
It's one of my favourite memories simply because it just reminds me of our channel now.
Yeah.
So our next memory is a memory that I would prefer to forget.
What is that? I can't remember that.
This was, we went on the ride Armageddon.
Yes.
And I thought I'd been on this, but I don't think I had as a child. I don't remember it. Martyn had been on it as a child and was terrified of it.
Yes.
So we were like, oh, we'll go on it. I hated it. I really didn't like it.
It's no longer there. If you don't know what Armageddon is, the ride, it was a special effects show more than a ride.
Yeah.
And it was based on the film Armageddon. With Michael Clark Duncan. And what happens is you go in and there's a little bit of a pre-show, first of all, where they're teaching you how to act.
Yeah.
And then you go into like this space station room and there's fire and there's the room shakes and things exploding and it's just an attack on the senses.
It was because I'm not the best in crowds, and it was like obviously a lot of people. You weren't sitting down, you were all standing, and it was so dark. And I just remember thinking, no, I want to get out. And then obviously it was really loud. They had like smoke effects, and I was like, I'm not doing that again.
So I was over my fear because I hated it when I was a child, but then it just seemed like Helena adopted my fear that I had.
But it's gone now, so we don't have to go on it again, luckily. Let us know in the comments if you went on it and what you thought of it. But yeah, that was my one and only time on Armageddon.
I quite liked it when I went on it as an adult. The next memory is something that we've chatted about quite a bit on the channel, but it's the Tower of Terror Saga that we're going to call it. So this takes place over a couple of days. So I was deathly afraid of the ride Tower of Terror. In fact, I've got a video on the channel that's overcoming the fear of Tower of Terror, just some tips, because it's during this trip that I was able to overcome that fear. So we'd been to Orlando and I just refused to go on Tower of Terror, and then Helena really wanted me to go on the Tower of Terror in Disneyland Paris, and it just took me ages to get up the courage to do it. Helena went on the parachute drop.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So you went on that on your own.
Yeah.
And then after that, we decided we were going to go and do Tower of Terror.
Yeah, I think so.
You
hadn't been on parachute drop?
I hadn't, no, which is weird. So I think...
You did go on parachute drop.
That was the next day. So I sent you on to parachute drop to see how parachute drop felt.
Yeah.
And then you came over to me and said
sent me on there.
Yeah, and you said that, no, it's absolutely fine. I think you'd be able to do that. And then from that, it turned into, right, let's go and try and do Tower of Terror, which was a bad idea because we queued for Tower of Terror, got all the way to the front, to the bit where the library doors were about to open, and I was as white as a ghost.
Like, you were dead silent, you were so pale, and you were just not speaking, and I was like, no, we can't go on it. Like, this is meant to be fun. And so we can't go on it.
We had to leave through the fire door.
Yeah.
Threw us off to the side.
Had to ask the guy, we were like, we don't want to go on it anymore. And he was like, really? We'd queued for quite a while, about half an hour. And then we were like, no. And then he let us out.
So it was then the next day that I said, right, I'm going to do it.
Do it in the morning, so you didn't have time to like think about it.
But I said, I'll go on the parachute drop first. Because Helena had been on that and said that I think I'd be able to manage that, and it would be a good warm up to Tower of Terror. So the next day, I don't speak to Helena at all, really. Like in the morning, we go on the parachute drop, come off the parachute drop. I was a bit nervy about the parachute drop because you can see out.
Parachute drop is quite scary because you can see.
Yeah, and then we decided we were going to go and do Tower of Terror.
And you did it.
Helena's like, right, we're going on Tower of Terror, and I'm just not looking at her. I'm looking at the floor. Don't talk throughout the whole line. Eventually go on it, and then like the next clip is like me absolutely buzzing.
You loved it. You were just giggling the whole time, and I was like, I knew that you were gonna love it.
Yeah, so I managed to finally get over my fear of Tower of Terror, and I just remember being so elated, and just it was just pure joy.
I'm so glad that you actually liked it as well.
Yeah.
So next is one of our favourite dining experiences from that trip, and that is eating at Davy Crockett's Tavern at Davy Crockett's Ranch. We loved it so much that even though we stayed nearer the parks on our next trip at Hotel Cheyenne, we drove over to Davy Crockett Ranch just to go to Davy Crockett's Tavern again, because we loved it. It was so nice.
Just love the atmosphere of the whole ranch, really. Yeah. Because it's a bit out of Disneyland Paris. I don't know, it's just got a really nice...
It's very calm.
It's got a bit of a nature feel to it, nice and relaxing.
And also, because we went in July, the first time, it was summer, so they had like a barbecue on outside. So it had that really like summer feel to it.
Yeah.
And it was just one of my favourite memories of an evening in Disney. I think you went for a swim.
Well, that's the other thing, is there's a swimming pool.
Yeah.
If you stay at Davy Crockett Ranch, you're able to go and have a swim. So yeah, I nipped off, had a little swim.
Whilst I got ready.
Came back, got changed, and then it was a lovely like summer's evening.
Yeah.
And we just wandered down and went into the tavern.
Oh, and the food was so good.
I might have had 2 plates.
And then they also, remember, they gave you ice creams that you could like take away if you wanted. So we took away ice creams to have on the way to Disneyland. But then you were driving and you were also too full to eat yours. So I had these 2 ice creams in the car, and there's a vlog of this, and they were melting. So I literally had to eat them. I had no other choice. And I remember just being so full and being like, if I'm sick on Rock and Roller Coaster, it's your fault.
In the Q&A the other day, I got asked which sidekick you most like, and I said Sebastian, because I can be a stickler for the rules. And one of the things I read about driving in France, it was my first time driving in France. So I read
you were
everything.
really scared you were going to get pulled over.
And I said, look, one of the laws is that you're not allowed to eat behind the wheel. So you've got to eat those 2 ice creams.
And you also just didn't want to eat it because you were full.
Yeah, it was funny as well. The next memory is going on Snow White and just thinking, first of all, how fast that ride is.
Yes. Blink and you miss it, that ride.
But the main memory is reaching the end and seeing the animatronics of the prince and also Snow White, but mainly noticing Snow White's hand.
Yeah.
And how it's almost like it's clicking. So it's like it's a very early animatronic that they just haven't got round to redoing. And the first time we saw it, we were like, oh, look at her hand.
Yeah, I go to you. Have you noticed her hand? And then you zoom in really far, and then you go, creepy hand.
Yeah, I'm like, she's got a weird wave. And then, but I say it then, I go, she's got a creepy hand.
Yeah.
And so how did it go from creepy hand to creepy hand?
It's just all the sayings, like, just get that little bit bigger each trip. But now, of course, if you've watched the vlogs, you will know that we always have to ride Snow White.
Yeah.
And then we always have to go, creepy hand.
Yeah. And again,
at the end.
That was another thing that we started getting, like, Instagram messages of people noticing the creepy hand.
But yeah, Slink and Dog, Creepy Hyena, and Creepy Hand were all born out of that 2017 trip, and I love that. It just really reminds me of that trip now.
Yeah, so good.
So we couldn't do this video without mentioning our favourite show, I think, that we've ever seen at Disneyland Paris. And that is the 25th anniversary show, which was outside of the castle. They did it several times a day and we fell in love with it. It had all our favourite characters in. I think you counted, there was like 19 to 20 amazing characters.
18, 19 characters.
Loads of Goofy and Max.
Yeah.
And just the songs are really good. It goes through all the different lands. And
in Frontierland, you're home away from home.
And we watched it, I think on that trip we watched it twice, all the way through. One time we were up on the ledge. We got a really good spot, and then the other time we sat down near the front.
Yes.
And I just remember loving that show. And we just sang the songs all the time, didn't we?
It was amazing. And I mean, Goofy was like the star of the show. He had so many dance routines and stuff, and I just remember I was just a big kid watching it and which character's coming next?
And then all the Winnie the Pooh characters come out.
Oh. Winnie the Pooh looks so happy
cute
to be part of it. But this is also the first time that we introduced to a different character where we were who is that? And it was Duffy.
We had no clue who Duffy was.
No idea who Duffy was. And then I researched it, and then I think this is it. So Minnie gave Duffy to Mickey for when he went to work on the cruise ships.
Yeah, so it's like
Mickey's
toy.
Yeah.
But I remember we were loving all the characters, and then we were like, who is that? We were like, we have never seen him before. And we were so confused.
But yeah, it was brilliant. And each of the songs for the different lands was so memorable. And then at the end, when there's just so many characters, and they're all going, Mickey, 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 Mickey. And then Mickey comes out at the end. Oh, I loved it.
Let us know in the comments if you also were there when that show was on, because we can't be the only ones that love that show. I remember loads of people messaged us saying that they loved it as well. It was such a good outdoor show.
Couldn't get enough of it. Even if it was on and we were walking past, we had to stay and watch a bit. Yeah. It's time for the last memory for this trip, last favourite memory of this trip. And it's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah.
But
probably should have left it till last.
But it's funny. At the time, I'm not sure how funny I found it. So we went off to Disney Village during one day, and because it was summer, we were applying the sun cream quite often, and I applied sun cream, but I tend to...
You always do this.
I tend to sweat quite quickly, and so the sun cream just ran into my eye, and I think I was just saying to Helena, I've got sun cream in my eye, I can't see, I've got sun cream in my eye, can you help me? And then Helena had the idea of, well, I've got a bottle of water, why don't I just pour this water into your eye? So I sat down.
Because you were like this.
Yeah, I was probably complaining. So I sat down on this little ledge in Disney Village on our way back to the parks. So we'd finished doing what we were doing in Disney Village, and we were on our way back to the parks. And Helena pours the water over my eye, but because I'm sat down, the water just falls from my eye and all over my shorts, and in a position where it looks like I've wet myself.
And we actually catch it on the vlog. It's so funny. And you're like, I can't go into the parks now.
But that's the thing, we weren't going, because I think we'd just been to have something to eat.
Yeah.
So if it had happened before, it would have been okay because I would have been sat down for a little while.
Yeah.
But we were now heading into the parks where I was just walking around and I had these big water stains on my shorts.
But I did get the sun cream out of the eye.
You did get the sun cream out of my eye. Yes.
But I think I did just tip a whole bottle of water over you. I was just like...
When Helena said, well, it would have been better if you'd lied down. In Disney Village.
But that was one of our favourite memories as well. We just laughed about it. I think it dried quite quickly, luckily, because it was hot.
Yeah, because it was sunny.
But I remember your face like, what?
But yeah, there's our 10 favourite memories from our very first trip to Disneyland Paris. So that was 2017, the first Disneyland Paris trip that we vlogged. So that's way back in our created playlists if you want to take a look. And some of you said that you wanted to hear more about our Disneyland Paris memories.
Yeah.
Or Disney trip memories after we did the first video about Walt Disney World. So yeah, we thought we'd bring you this video today.
Yeah, and we'll do them for the other trips, like along the way as well at some point.
Yeah.
But it is really fun to look back and reminisce, especially those trips, because they're quite a few years old now.
Yeah.
So it is fun to look back.
And then also just wanted to mention that this Thursday we're going to do a live stream.
Yay!
So yeah, we're going to answer any questions that you've got. We're just going to hang out. We'll have, it's like having that chat over tea that I always like to say. Bring your Disney mugs, bring your snacks. We'll have a chat for an hour. And then also our Slinky Dog badges.
Yay!
They arrived.
Thank you so much for your patience if you ordered one and you've been waiting a few weeks. We were in chats with the company for quite a while, and it took a long time, obviously because of the current situation as well. But they finally arrived, and we were so happy when they did.
Very happy. So everyone that's ordered one from a few weeks ago, or if you've ordered one up until this video, actually, we've got them all packaged up and ready to send.
We're going to post them very soon.
So you should be getting an email soon saying that they're on their way. And if you want to get your hands on one of those Slinky Dog badges, then you can head over to our Etsy store.
Yay!
So that's it for today's video. Like I said, we'll be back with you on Thursday. So because it's a live stream, we'll do the live stream at 6:30.
Yeah,
So,
6:30 to 7:30.
Yeah, 6:30 in the evening, UK time, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for watching. Toodle Pipski.
Bye, guys!